TIG, Balitaan sa Rembrandt, May 29, 2015. Isa sa mga pangunahing bisita ni Dr. Jeric San Juan ng araw na iyon ay si JERIC Sevilla Jr. ng Manila Water.
So, kumbaga, medyo tayo reduction sa kanila kasi bunsod ko nung magkaibang naging desisyon nung panel. Ang sabi sa atin, tayo ay public utility, pero yung kabilang concessionary hindi. So this is actually bringing or raising a lot of questions. Kasi ang MWSS, siya yung merong charter sa Kongreso. So siya yung merong legislative franchise. Tayo, we are operating based on the concession agreement. So, ngayong public utility na rin tayo according to the decision. So ang ibig sabihin nito, dalawa na ang public utilities na nag-ooperate within the east zone of Metro Manila. And currently, pinag-aaralan natin yung implications noon. Pero yung mga tanong natin, for example, sino na ngayon ang ultimately ang may responsibilidad sa customers? Is it MWSS or is it tayo? Pangalawa, sino na ang magsiset ng targets? Kasi di ba meron tayong regulators na sila yung nagsiset ng targets base sa concession agreement. But with this new arrangement, sino na ngayon ang ultimately magsiset ng targets? Or the question is, kailangan pa bang mag-set ng targets? No? Pangatlo, meron din tayong meron din tayo na tinatanong dito na kung public utility na tayo, are we bound to behave like other public utilities na kailangan kumuha ng legislative franchise? Kukuha na rin ba tayo ng franchise, mga long-term franchise to actually operate? Or sino na ang magmamayari ng mga assets? Yung bang M.W.S.S. or Manila Water? So these are the questions that are being raised right now with the decision.
Bottom line, how do you resolve this now? Do you have to go to Congress, the arbitration, or the Supreme Court? Because there's a conflict of interest already.
Yes. The ball is even in our hands kasi we subjected ourselves to arbitration. So, ibig sabihin ito, ano man ang decision ng arbitral panel would be final and binding. That is the reason why, even if we are not in agreement doon sa naging decision nila, we will abide or we are abiding, kaya tayo magpapatupad.
But you know what gives you the advantage over the other concessionaire, di ba? Or, di ba, kasi if Manila Water gets this kind of decision in favor of them, that should be applied, the same decision should be applied to Manila, di ba?
Unfortunately,
di ba? It can trigger actually a conflict between the two concessionaires.
Actually, the divergent rulings, parang meron na talagang I don't really want to say it's a conflict, but the difference in the rulings is a very big issue, especially for MWSS. The reason sinasabi ko na the ball isn't in our hands kasi we subjected ourselves to arbitration and we should comply. Ngayon, ang may problema ngayon dyan ay yung MWSS. How are they going to ensure regulatory parity? Yung equal treatment between the two concessionaires.
Kasi what can happen there is, if you're saying that parang they have they can operate as a public service utility and the other one is not, and you can impose your prices at the other company or the other concessionaire may be at a disadvantage in the future in terms of the pricing scheme. And then number two is, the consumers will find themselves, you're blessed, I think, you're lucky with your decision. Apparently that's it.
Well, yung decision namin is actually to reduce the rates, no?
Yeah, reduce the rates,
For
but then
Manila Water.
eventually, now you're going to reduce your rates, but then you're going to function like MWSS.
That's something that we don't know at the moment, no? So, ang pagkakaalam po natin, just to be able to resolve this regulatory challenge, no, in MWSS, parang they are resorting to the court, no? Kasi parang here is a situation wherein isa ang service area ng MWSS, hinati lang sa dalawa, east zone for Manila Water and west zone for the other concessionaire. And then, magkaiba yung decision. No? So, they are going to the courts with we heard, no? Just to be able for the courts to decide with finality, ano ba talaga, public utilities ba talaga ang concessionaryo or hindi. The reason we're raising this is that meron po tayong concession agreement. And the concession agreement very explicitly states na we are contractors and agents of MWSS which shall remain to be the public utility. Pero with that decision of the appeals panel ngayon, parang somehow the rules of the game have changed,
Yeah.
no? And it's essentially and fundamentally changing the concession agreement. So ito yung mga tinatanong natin sa MWSS ngayon. Tell us what to do if you're telling us that we are already a public utility, so anong dapat namin gawin? But in the meantime that these things aren't resolved yet, we are functioning based on the concession agreement. We would like to remain faithful to the concession agreement, and that's the and the consumers, kasi sila talaga yung major stakeholders natin. Kaya ang sabi natin, dahil final and binding yung decision, we will abide. That's why ipapatupad natin yung commitment natin. But on the other hand, dahil binabanggit din sa concession agreement na kung magkakaroon ng pagbabago midstream in terms of the rules, meron po tayong tinatawag na letter of undertaking ng Department of Finance, which actually guarantees na kapag hindi na masusunod yung ating napagkasunduan, here's the national government, which is supposed to guarantee us. So what we did was, after that decision, we issued a notice of claim sa national government, invoking or calling on the letter of undertaking ng Department of Finance.
How much?
These are for prospective losses. This is amounting to about 79 billion until the end of the concession.
So the government has to pay for that.
That is what we are claiming. Na dahil yung agreed rate of return natin ay hindi na masusunod and it's going to be a lot lower than what is agreed, then we are going to incur these much losses until the end of the concession, assuming na ganito na ang magiging arrangement until the end of the concession.
But I don't really see it, competitive. You're coming up with a reduction of rates, that's one. Number two, you look at your financial statement, you are making money. And then you're telling me that 79 billion has to be shouldered by the national government. And what happens is the 79 billion will be shouldered by the taxpayer. So you're actually winning more than losing. Diba? Parang gano'n.
Because this is a concession agreement.
Yeah, but even then, who pays for it? It's the taxpayer. It's not the Ayalas.
Well, that is correct, no? But the reason we went into this is because in 1997, it was the national government who actually invited the concessionaires to participate in the public-private participation.
Siguro ng kakasuhan mo ng gobyerno. Kasi very clear na they have to follow the rules, no? They're just towing the line of the government. MWSS is government. Tapos now they're na mukhang parang merong angel and demon operation going on within the government. Ang nahirapan yung mga concessionaires. Tapos in the process tayo damay.
So, water supply, as it is. Right now, the water level is going down. Question is, the rains are very unpredictable, the way Makata has been, making the forecast. Is it going to get worse? If it's going to get worse, what contingency do you have? At what point are you going to declare rationing if that happens?
Kung ang reckoning po natin is, for example, 2010. 2010 is probably the worst El Nino that we had. In 2010, the level of Angat went down to 157 meters.
Right now, it is what?
Right now, as we speak, the level of Angat is 179.22. This is lower, this is below the minimum operating water level, which is 180. Ayaw nating tawagin na yung 180 is the critical level, but that's the usual nomenclature that we are saying. Pero what we call it now is the minimum operating water level at 180. We're at 179.22. Yes, it's below, pero kung i-compare natin siya with last year, Last year, we was 5 or 4 meters lower than today. So, mas mataas pa rin naman tayo. And last year, despite a lower level, we never had problems. But that's not to say na hindi na tayo kailangan maghanda, no? Manila Water, as it always has done so in the past, El Nino or La Nina, we are always trying to prepare for contingency plans, no? Ang first plan po natin palagi is to ensure that all our facilities are in very good condition. Currently, we are operating 3 treatment plants. Meron po tayong 2 sa Palara at meron tayong isa sa may very near Payata, Quezon City, which is called M.W.S.S. This is capable of supplying about 1,600 million liters of water per day. So we have to ensure na dapat in tip-top condition siya. Along with 38 reservoirs strategically located within the East Concession area, and at the same time, about 44 na mga pumping stations. So that's number 1. Second, we regularly maintenance work to eliminate the so-called system losses or leaks. We are allowed by the MMDA na mag-repair ng mga leaks natin, pero lang po talagang very emergency. So we start at 10 in the evening at up to about 4 in the morning. That's almost every day. Pangatlo po, well, with media, we are advocating basically yung ating info, education, and communication campaign on responsible and wise use of water. Kung kinakailangan natin ng additional supply, Manila Water is ready to reactivate 26 wells para po makadagdag ng supply. And then, in cases na talagang medyo dire-diretsong magbababa yung level ng gata without rain inside, there's always what we call a pressure and supply management. Meaning, 24/7 pa rin ang supply natin, pero baka at a reduced pressure. During the wee hours of the morning, kung kailan hindi kailangan masyado yung tubig, when demand is actually very low. We have about 4 mobile treatment plants which are capable of treating any type of raw water and converting into potable water. On extreme scenarios, in worst case scenario, we are ready to pull up static tanks and do water exchange. We were ready with this in 2010 when the level went down to 157. But fortunately na maayos na yung sistema ng Manila Water, we did not resort to it. Even at a very low level ng 157, there was no barangay in Manila Water that went without water in 2010. So ngayon, we are just hoping na tama yung pag-asa. Pag-asa is predicting rains would be coming by middle of June, the 3rd week of June, and that the rainfall for June and July would be about normal. And then we look at the, tawag po natin doon, rule curve ng Angat. Pagdating po ng later part ng June and July, pumipick up na yung level niya. Our projections state that by the end of June, baka bumaba yung level up to 174. At 174, we are still going to be able to manage the supply. May mga rains po sa Angat ngayon, about 26 mm, 26 millimeters for the past 3 days. Kaya lang because masyado mainit, hindi pa ito nagre-reflect sa level.
What's your advice to households?
Well, generally, yung households were advocating responsible and wise use of water. Gumamit po ng tubig kung kinakailangan, but just make sure na hindi siya tapos sa
This portion is brought to you by
Ultra Pure Water Purifier. Samantala sa inyong lahat na gusto ng malinis na tubig, direkta sa inyong mga gripo, narito na ang Ultra Pure Water Purifier. Matipid na, garantisadong malinis na tubig ang hatid pa.
Bumibili ito yung metro kasi na sabi na ganito na nabalitan, tumaas faster na yung mga condo.
Hindi po, no? I think it's just an impression, no? Nasanay po kasi tayo, with due respect to government in the past. Nasanay tayo noon na halos ang metro hindi pinapalitan. And really over time, talaga pong by natural wear and tear, talaga pong bumabagal. In fact, napaka-ingenious po talaga ng Pinoy. Talaga ang daming ginagawa para talaga medyo bumagal, no? Ang assurance lang po namin is that before po ilagay ang metro sa inyo, you can actually witness an on-site testing of the meter. At meron po tayong ini-issue na talagang press certificate that all the meters na ilalagay ay maayos. Nagkakataon lang po siguro na nasanay po yung mga tao na talagang ito lang yung binabayaran nila pero nag-under-register na nung pinalitan po ngayon, medyo talagang nagre-register yung tamang konsumo. Nag-normalize po. And this is very common po. Marami talaga, Robert, na maraming complaints na ganyan. No? Pero what we do is that we really invite them to witness on-site testing. Pero meron po tayong benchmark. No? Ang benchmark po natin ganito, para po sa isang pamilya na 4 hanggang 6 na tao. Normally, ang konsumo po natin naglalaro po ng mga 30 cubic meters isang buwan. Ang isang cubic meter po ay 1,000 liters or 5 gram. So, ibig sabihin nito, you're consuming around 30,000 cubic meters, 30,000 liters. Yun po ay for 4 to 6 persons. Yung 4 to 6 persons na yun, at the new rate, ang dapat pong babayaran nyo lang mga nasa 603 pesos. Yun po ang benchmark natin. Ngayon, kung kukunti lang kayo, tapos ang taas ng billing, marami pong factors, no? Number 1, pwede pong meron kayong underground leak. Ito po ang common culprit. Underground leak na hindi nagsusurface, hindi nyo nakikita. Pangalawa, ito po yung tayo po lahat meron po sa mga restrooms natin na flush. Yun pong dire-diretso na tubig doon. That is enough to cause yung billing ninyo to multiply by 3 to 4 times in a month unless addressed. Pangatlo po, doon sa mga informal communities, pwede pong baka may nag-illegal doon sa inyo. You're paying for the consumption of somebody else. Pero the assurance is, yung metro po na nilalagay natin sa inyo ay nag-register po.
This portion is brought to you by
M.I.S.M.O Whitening Soap. Narito na sa gustong pumuti at gumanda. Ito ang kasagutan sa problema mo, kapatid. M.I.S.M.O Whitening Soap sa murang halaga, kutis artista ka na.
Ang very common po dito, because we are regularly coordinating with MMDA and TPWH, very common po dito yung binabatayan natin, mga road under construction or drainage under construction na binubungkan mo talaga yung kalye at na-expose po doon ang lahat ng linya. So, yung iba po, mga unscrupulous practices nila, bago po tabunan ng simento, yung kalye, medyo sinasabayan nila. Siyempre, pag natabunan mo na siya, hindi mo na siya makita. So, we are very vigilant. We have advised our contractors to be talagang very vigilant about this, as well as yung partnership natin with the local governments para po maiwasan. And this program has been very successful for Manila Water. Alam niyo po, noong 1997, nung nagsimula po kami, ang non-revenue water o ang nawawalang tubig po natin, 63%. Ang equivalent po nito ay 750 million liters of water per day na nasasayang. Or kung pamilyar po tayo sa Wawa Dam, 14 na laman ng Wawa Dam, ganun po ang nawawala na tubig ng araw. So after investing more than 50 billion pesos already for rehabilitation since 1997, ang system loss po natin ngayon ay nasa 11% na lang. Yung 11% po, by international standards, this is very okay. Kasi ang international standard mo ay nasa 20 to 25. So it's very, it's a really a milestone for the Philippine water industry to have a system loss at about 11%. Ang tumatalo lang po sa atin ngayon, yung first world talaga na Tokyo, or Singapore na 5% po or 7% ang non-revenue water. But at the rate we're going, we're doing very fine.
Yung expansion program ba ng Manila Water sa South, particularly doon sa mga subdivisions, kasi mga subdivisions, kinokontrol nila yung pagpasok ng tubig sa kanila eh. So, na-resolve na ba yung issue nito, yung pati yung pag-distribute ng tubig doon sa mga subdivision, private subdivisions, as well yung expansion program yun sa South, hanggang Laguna?
Well, Maynila yun, pero one yung Laguna po, yung 3 cities po po ng Laguna, BINIGYANG, Cabuyao, Santa Rosa, ay ino-operate po siya ng isang subsidiary ng Manila Water, which is called Laguna Water Company. But we have cases like those, Archie, na alam niyo po ang konsesyonaryo, hindi po yan kumbaga aayaw doon sa additional connections. Kasi mandato po natin na talagang i-expand ang service. Ang nagiging karaniwang problema po, marami po yung mga subdivisions na existing na bago dumating ang konsesyonaryo. At meron pong kanya-kanyang kontrata na pinasukan yon with respective developers. So ang tendency po niyan, we have to honor yung mga kontratang yun. Pero yung mga overtime, makikita nyo po nagre-reklamo ang mga tao dahil una, ang laki na ng binabayaran, ang pangit ng serbisyo dahil una, butas-butas na, luma na yung mga linya. Kami po, willing kami na pumasok. Kaya lang po, unfortunately, may mga internal rumblings sa loob. May mga problema po yan dun sa mga opisyales ng mga homeowners. Pangit man pong sabihin, pero yung iba po, hindi ko naman nila lahat. Ginagawa na pong pinagkakakitaan noong mga opisyales, no? Kasi kami po, normally pag subdivision, in bulk i-bill ka lang namin based on the mother meter, Eric. Meron lang isang malaking meter sa labas. Pagpasok mo sa loob, bahala na yung homeowners association na mag-distribute sa loob. Ibig sabihin, sila na ang nag-bill dun sa mga respective na mga residente sa loob. Ang tendency niyan is that, una, kung luma na yung sistema, ang laki ng losses. Lahat po ng losses na yon ay sinasalo ng mga residente sa loob. Hindi lang yun, pinapatungan pa. Normally po sa amin, kung residential customer ka, on the average, ang binabayaran mo mga 20-24 pesos per cubic meter. Pero kapag bulk water ka, yung 24 po na yon, pag binila ng subdivision, nagiging 35. In fact, sa Taguig po, as high as 60. As high as 60 pesos. Kaya po, marami kaming tinatanggap na request na pwede bang i-individualize nyo kami. Kami po pumapayag dyan. Unfortunately, may mga documentation yan. At kailangan po, pag nag-take over kami doon, papalitan po natin yung buong sistema kasi lumang-luma na. Kaya Archie, to your question, yes, we are expanding. Yes, hindi tayo umaayaw sa ganyan. But we just have to follow certain documentations. Ang major po kasi dyan, kailangan po, pag tinignan natin yung linya, kailangan po 90% billing efficient. At ibig sabihin po nun, 10% lang yung losses sa loob. Pero ngayon, yung mga ginawa with due respect to developers, ang mga nasasayang po na tubig, mas malaki pa kaysa sa pinakinabangan. Ganun po na kaya we have to follow. Pwede na it could be human error based dun sa nagbasa. Kasi tao lang din niya nagbabasa eh. Ang ating metro, binabasa mo talaga, tinitingnan mo. So pwedeng mali ang tingin mo, mali ang pasok. No? Hindi pa po tayo sa ibang bansa na remote by frequency. So pwedeng mangyari yan. Assuming nagkaroon po ng erroneous reading, no? Una po, talagang nire-reverse ito. Siyempre yung mga, hindi na po uso ngayon yung may mga fast lane. Well, at least I can only speak for the water. Hindi na po uso yung may mga fast lane sa mga business centers. Kasi ang style po ngayon, dapat hindi kayo nagpupunta ng business area.
This portion is brought to you by
Ultra Pure Water Purifier. Samantala sa inyong lahat na gusto ng malinis na tubig, direkta sa inyong mga gripo, narito na ang Ultra Pure Water Purifier. Matipid na, garantisadong malinis na tubig ang hatid pa.
Yan, I will assure you 120%, straight from the top, pwede mo siyang inumin. Ang kadalasan, kaya po sinasabi nila na gumagamit pa ng mga home filtration system. Una, tingnan po natin, yung bang mga pipes natin ay bago or luma. Kadalasan po, lalo na sa old houses, ginagamit niya ang GI pipes pa, galvanized iron. Ito po yung overtime na talaga pong kakalawangin, napuputas. Kaya pag binuksan mo sa umaga, kulay dilaw, meron pang halong buhangin, etc. Pero pinapalitan na po yan, no, Mike? Kung pinalitan mo yan, no, tinatawag natin na PVC, polyvinyl chloride or HDPE, high density polyethylene. Kung bago yan, hindi mo kailangan ng filtration system. Straight from the tap, talagang pwedeng inumin. This is very common sa mga old houses, Mike. Pero kung maayos, wala kang dapat ikabahala. And in fact, we encourage, no, na yung mga lumang bahay, yung iba ayaw magpapalit kasi dahil bubukali daw yung mga granite na tiles, kasi nasa ilalim yan eh. Ang gawa po ngayon, hindi mo na kailangan bungkalin. Ilalatag mo na lang po na naka-expose, naka-clip na lang, tinatago na lang po. Pero naka-expose siya. Yung nakikita siya, mas madaling mabantayan, alam mo walang mag-illegal. Pero
bahay mo, siyempre bago lahat yan. Oo. Pero yung dudugtungan, yung kukunan ng linya mo, yung kapitbahay mo, yung subdivision, sigurado ka pang bago yun. Baka mamaya, old na rin yung mga tubo.
ay, yung supply po, yung main line, yung supply line na galing po sa amin, we're absolutely sure na okay yan. Kaya po, relative to sa question ni Archie, kaya nga po kapag may subdivision na gustong papasukin kami, ang gusto namin, palitan po ng buo.
Dapat.
Hindi yung naiiwan ka, para sigurado ka na talagang maayos.
Madalas po sa amin, ang Manila Water na nagbubukal. Kadalasan po, lalo na yung gate, sa tapat ng gate namin, doon kasi sumabog yung pinaka-main. Tapos po, labasan po siya. Pero iniiwan po nila na hindi maayos yung semento. Yung po ba talaga ang kalakaran? O talagang sa inyong management, hindi nyo inutos na maging gano'n?
I will get the details on Juvie, pero ito po ang cardinal rule. Kung ano po yung uri ng pavement na pinungkal, yun din po ang i-restore. Kunyari po, simento yan. Pag ni-restore, dapat simento rin. Kung asfalto, dapat asfalto rin. In fact nga, ang local government mahigpit kahit asfalto, gusto na po simento. Pero normally, amin po yun, no? Bahagi po ng proyekto na yon ang restoration.
Sa ngayon, itong about 3 weeks na ito na lumaga sa barangay. Talagang hindi. Top water galing sila. Mukhang yung quality na bago. Kasi dati yung filter ko, take about the month bago siya pulputan ng maging brown. Ngayon 3 days, 4 days kailangan sinisip uli. So, paano lang yun? Dalawa kasi, kung magiging malinaw ng konti yung tubig mo, may iwasan ng tao yung bumili ng funeral water.
Funeral?
Tawag ng funeral water. Ito funeral water. Hindi, funeral water yan. So, I would prefer tap water. Problema lang, hindi din, parang mataas yung chlorination nyo. Yung palagi ng tubig kung saan mga isda. Nagdabukasa, nakalutang lahat.
Huli ko po yung details, no? Ideally, sabi ko nga po, kung maayos po yung linya, dapat hindi po gano'n eh. Kasi dapat consistent po siya, no? Insofar as chlorination is concerned, tama po yun, no? Kino-chlorinate natin ang water. Pero meron po tayo sa Philippine National Standard for Drinking Water na hindi po pwedeng mag-exceed ng a certain chlorine content. Parang, if I'm not mistaken po, 1.2 parts per million. Meron pong ano yan.
3 years na yung aming ano eh. Ngayon lang nangyari yun eh. Namatay yung 4 lang natira out of about 25.
Sige sir, patingnan po natin. Ang pending na investigation, ang suspect po dyan, ang tingin ko po, baka po meron pong underground leak or breakage doon sa ano ninyo. Tapos meron pong pumapasok na ano, may nagsisip, kaya po patingnan po natin.
Ako lang magsasabi siya, yes, mas ako mismo naglalan ng linya.
Sa loob po na ba yan? O sa labas?
Hindi, wala rin sa topic.
Mula po din sa tapin.
Halika na siya yung walang ganun.
O sige po. Opo.
Bago umalis si JERIC Sevilla, ipinarating ni Mayet Robles ang sumbong ng mga residente sa gilid ng Angat Dam na pinaalis sila di umano ng mga Koreano. Walang alam ang Manila Water kasi hindi amin ang proyektong iyon, ang sagot ni JERIC. Abangan sa ikalawang bahagi, itutuloy ang talakayan dahil iuulat ni General Raul Caballes ang tungkol sa kasalukuyang kaganapan sa Tibaw.
Dalos-dalos kay dula, kung siya ay iyong kausap, malingat-gat, sumisibat, sumisibat.